On April 8, 2024, a man named David Hayes was walking northbound in the southbound lane of Highway 65 in Greenbrier, Arkansas, when he was approached by Officer Jay Lingo of the Greenbrier Police Department. The interaction that followed was captured on Officer Lingo's body camera.
You can't be walking in the middle of the road right here. There's a sidewalk on the other side.
Well, I'm walking in the easement. I mean, you know,
the easement,
this is the easement right here.
No. The easement is 15 feet off of
I'm
the...
just trying to get to where I'm going, sir.
You need a ride?
No, I don't need a ride.
Well, you can't walk in the highway.
So I can walk in right here.
You can walk on the grass as much as you want.
All right.
All right, you got ID on you?
I don't.
You got name and date of birth?
Do you have a reason to ID me?
Yeah.
What's the reason?
So you're... Move up here for me, if you don't mind. Move up here for me, if you don't mind.
I'm 98.
You got your body cam on?
It's red.
Okay.
So, you can't walk in the middle of the road like you were doing.
Uh-huh.
The easement is not on the roadway. The easement is off of the roadway.
Okay, so as far as I know, a pedestrian is considered the same as a cyclist. Okay. As far as I know, state of Arkansas, a cyclist can ride down the road. You're not going to tell cyclists to go down the grass.
Can you walk on the highway, on I-40?
I don't know.
No, you cannot.
I'm not going to tell you that I do know. But I don't see cyclists on I-40 either. But I do see cyclists down this.
So, I'm just letting you know.
I'm not trying to have an argument with you.
I'm not trying to have an argument with you either. But we got a 911 call.
Okay.
And I'm making contact with you, and we have to do reports on everything that we do.
Yes, sir.
That's Chief Earnhardt's policy. If you have an issue with it, you can contact him Monday through Friday, or Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay.
He just left.
Is Jay Lingo?
Yes, sir. I got a business card here if you want one.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Would you like a copy of the report?
Yeah. I could do that with the phone.
Hey, Tim Petty, can I get a report number, please?
Where are you guys located at?
Wilson Farm Road, right up next to First Security Bank.
Okay. And are you threatening me with an arrest for the ID?
Okay, so here's the deal. I have a legal reason to make contact with you.
Okay.
So therefore, I have legal reason to demand identification.
You suspect me of committing a crime?
You were walking down the highway.
Yeah. Okay. And
Yeah.
Is that an arrestable offense?
It's interfering with the traffic way. I can cite you for it if you want to.
I was on the shoulder the entire way. I don't see how.
No, you wasn't. There is no shoulder here. So go ahead and give me your ID and we'll give you a citation, okay?
Well, I'm going to refuse the ID.
Okay, go ahead and put your hands behind your back.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a citation. You can either cooperate or not.
I've been completely cooperative.
Officer Lingo places Mr. Hayes in handcuffs and informs him that he's going to issue him a citation for, quote-unquote, walking in the roadway. We will discuss whether Officer Lingo had the lawful authority to detain Mr. Hayes later in this episode. But in order to make that determination, it is necessary to ascertain whether Mr. Hayes was violating any Arkansas pedestrian statute by walking along Highway 65. When Officer Lingo first made contact, Mr. Hayes was traveling northbound in the southbound lane of a multi-lane highway, close to the edge of the roadway, with a sidewalk on the opposite side of the road. Officer Lingo informs Mr. Hayes that he cannot walk, quote-unquote, in the middle of the road, and insists that the easement exists only in the grass, while Mr. Hayes maintains that he's using the shoulder appropriately and compares himself to a cyclist using the roadway. Subchapter 12 of Title 27 of the Arkansas Code specifically addresses pedestrians and crosswalks, pedestrians crossing outside crosswalks, solicitations for rides, and pedestrians on certain high-speed roads. The basic crossing rules require pedestrians who cross outside crosswalks to yield to vehicles and restrict mid-block crossings between signalized intersections. But none of these codes explicitly reference a pedestrian walking along the edge of a roadway instead of using a sidewalk when one exists on the other side. While Section 27-51-1206 prohibits pedestrians from being within the property boundaries of a quote-unquote controlled access highway, except in narrow circumstances, this statute statute does not apply to every numbered highway in the state. According to the statute, a quote-unquote controlled access highway is defined as a state highway or street that is designed for an unhindered flow of traffic without intersections, traffic signals, or property access, and regulates the ingress and egress of a motor vehicle. The portion of Highway 65 where Officer Lingo encounters Mr. Hayes runs through a developed area of Greenbrier that includes business driveways and signaled intersections, and functions as a commercial arterial rather than a closed access freeway. Although it may have been safer for Mr. Hayes to use the sidewalk on the opposite side of the road, Arkansas's relevant statutory framework does not clearly criminalize his decision to walk along the edge of this particular segment of Highway 65, and it is highly unlikely that a criminal charge based purely on this conduct would survive the scrutiny of a court.
Go ahead and take that backpack off. I don't want to cut it. You got something wrong with your shoulders?
No.
All right.
No. I do have cannabis pen in my pocket.
That's fine. I'm not worried about
I
that.
have a prescription.
I'm not worried about that. Hey, 10 PD, I got one detained.
I mean, I'm really not one to go this route. Look, I mean, I work at the hospital and stuff like that. That's all I do.
I don't want to go this route either.
But I mean, I'm not gonna give you an ID for walking down the road, sir. Sir, I'm not gonna do that. I believe that I'm firm within my constitutional rights.
I'm going to give you a citation for impeding traffic.
Okay.
You can either give me your name and date of birth now, and I can run you and give you a citation, let you on your way, or I can take you to jail, get you fingerprinted, get you ID'd that way, give you a citation in jail.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what we have to do, that's what we have to. I'm just not. I don't want to get in criminal charges, sir. But I'm not going to give you an ID without the arrest. I'm not going to give you an ID.
Okay.
I believe I'm firm within my constitutional rights on this. You know, I mean, I'm getting my life right and stuff. I haven't been in no trouble or anything like that, you know. But I believe I'm well within my rights, sir. I'm just walking to my father's house. All right, I walked damn near 20 miles from Conroe. All right, I'm just trying to see what I can do. I'm trying to get down the road to test myself, and I'm not going to ID.
Okay, go ahead and have a seat. You got anything else on you?
No, but I don't consent to a search.
Okay, well, you're arrested right now.
You can do whatever you feel like you're legally allowed to do, sir.
Officer Lingo informs Mr. Hayes that he's under arrest. Although the officer doesn't specify exactly why Mr. Hayes is being arrested, it is strongly implied that it is for refusing to provide his identification. While Arkansas is technically classified as a so-called stop and ID state, that distinction is derived from Section 5-71-213 of the Arkansas Code, which outlines the offense of loitering. This statute criminalizes lingering or prowling in a public place or the premises of another person without apparent reason and under circumstances that warrant alarm or concern for the safety of the individual or others, and refusing to identify and give a reasonably credible account of presence or purpose. Now, outside of that specific context, the Arkansas Code contains no general statute that makes refusal to identify a crime in every encounter. While Section 5-54-102 of the Arkansas Code punishes a citizen who knowingly obstructs, impairs, or hinders the performance of a governmental function, and expressly covers giving a false name or false identification to an officer, it does not apply in situations where an officer has no reasonable suspicion of criminal activity. Furthermore, Rule 2.2 of the Arkansas Rules of Criminal Procedure allows an officer to request information or cooperation from any person. However, Arkansas appellate courts have held that such an encounter is consensual and that the officer may not imply a legal duty to comply. As noted in the 2002 Arkansas Court of Appeals case of Lamb versus State, Rule 3.1 authorizes an officer to stop and detain citizens only if they reasonably believe the citizen is committing, has committed, or is about to commit a felony. When Officer Lingo handcuffed Mr. Hayes for declining to identify himself, there did not appear to be a clear underlying criminal offense that would have converted the encounter into a compulsory detention under Rule 3.1. Accordingly, there is a strong argument that Mr. Hayes was under no legal obligation to present his identification to Officer Lingo, and that arresting Mr. Hayes for that refusal may have constituted a Fourth Amendment violation.
I'm not authorizing.
Okay, give me a minute. So, I got a 911 call. This guy walking in the middle of the road. He was walking north in the southbound lane of traffic, and I got here, refused to identify himself. I advised him I was going to give him a citation for walking in the middle of the roadway, and he still refused to identify himself. So, hooked him up, put him in the back, and I'm calling you to see what you advise. No, sir. He acts like a ex-convict, but he said he's trying to get his life straight and stuff like that. I haven't searched his bag or anything like that, but there is a statute for walking in the middle of the roadway. Mm-hmm. Yep. Because I had legal reason to make contact with him, so all right. Appreciate you. Yes, sir. All right, so I just got off the phone with my chief, and he agrees with everything that I'm doing. So you still want to go this route?
I don't want to go this route.
I don't want to go this route either.
I'm firm on my rights, sir. I'm just going to be completely firm on my rights.
Okay, so here's the deal.
This can destroy everything that I have going in my life, but I'm going to stick by my rights, sir.
Okay, so here's the deal. You were walking in the middle of the roadway, which is illegal.
Sir, with all due respect, I was on the shoulder. I wasn't
was not.
Right in the middle of the road. I mean, I wasn't acting a fool or a
There is no easement here. The easement is the grass. That's the easement.
And I get what you're saying, sir, and I'm not trying to argue the law with you or anything. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. Okay? All I'm trying to do is just to get to where I'm going, and that's it.
So do you have warrants? Is that why you're not wanting to identify yourself?
I have no warrants.
So
I have no warrants. I don't want to identify myself because it's my rights. Okay, I've been off probation 5, 10 years.
Okay.
You know, I have nothing to hide from you, sir. I've told you I got weed in my pocket.
I don't care about weed.
It's still in my pocket. You know, I don't have anything in my bag at all, sir. I mean, nothing.
Okay.
Nothing at all.
So, where we go from here is up to you.
I mean, I'm just going to 21 Thornberry.
Okay. And you're more than welcome to either walk in the grass or on the sidewalk.
And I would be more than happy to walk in the grass, sir.
But I have to identify you.
I'm not arguing the fact of walking in the grass or anything like that, even though I still believe that if a cyclist can ride bike down here as well as I can.
They can't.
And I might be wrong. I'm not telling you that I'm not wrong, sir. I'm not telling you I'm not wrong, but I don't see. Is it a crime?
Yes.
Is my question. Okay, I don't have my ID. You know what?
Name and date of birth will be fine.
I'm going to do this under threat of arrest.
Okay.
I will give you my social or whatever.
Name and date of birth will be completely fine.
David Hayes. And this is just under complete arrest.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Hey, got a question for you. I can't remember the phrasing that it's used on here for like pedestrians walking in the highway. Yeah, walking northbound in the southbound lane of traffic. We're making it to where cars got to move out of the way to prevent from hitting them. Yeah. Say what? 2751 1206. My book skips from 41 to 53. Uh-huh. Because he wasn't crossing, he was walking northbound, so it would be the pedestrians prohibited on controlled access highway. Alright, that's what I got. I wouldn't even be giving him a ticket, but he refused to identify himself, so...
Here, Officer Lingo blatantly states that he wouldn't have issued Mr. Hayes a citation if he had surrendered his identification upon request. In the 2006 Supreme Court case of Hartman versus Moore, the court held that a plaintiff who alleges a retaliatory prosecution in violation of the First Amendment must prove that the officer lacked probable cause for the underlying charge, reasoning that proof of no probable cause supplies the evidentiary link between an official's retaliatory motive and the decision to prosecute. In the 2019 case of Nieves versus Bartlett, the court extended a similar rule to retaliatory arrest claims, holding that the existence of probable cause for an arrest will ordinarily defeat a First Amendment retaliation claim arising from that arrest. The court in Nieves also recognized a limited exception for minor offenses that are seldom enforced. The court used jaywalking as its example and explained that where an offense is so trivial and so rarely charged that officers almost never arrest for it, a plaintiff may still proceed by presenting objective evidence that similarly situated individuals are not ordinarily arrested, and that enforcement in the plaintiff's case appears to have been triggered by protected expression. In other words, probable cause usually defeats a retaliation claim. But for rarely enforced petty offenses, it does not automatically resolve the question when there is evidence of selective enforcement. In general, the mere act of refusing to provide identification is not treated as expressive conduct, and therefore does not qualify as protected speech under that framework. However, a citizen's verbal criticism of police conduct, persistent questioning of an officer's legal authority, and explicit invocation of constitutional rights all constitute protected expression. If a court were to conclude that Highway 65 did not qualify as a controlled access highway, and that no other pedestrian statute clearly criminalized Mr. Hayes' conduct, then there would be no probable cause for the citation. And when combined with Officer Lingo's explicit statement that he chose to write the ticket because Mr. Hayes refused to identify himself, there would be a strong argument that the citation served as a response to Mr. Hayes' assertion of his rights, rather than as neutral enforcement of pedestrian law. While a complete assessment of any potential claims would require a fuller factual record, the combination of an arguable lack of probable cause and Officer Lingo's own statement that the citation was driven by Mr. Hayes' refusal to identify himself is certainly deserving of further scrutiny.
All right. I'll call you back and we'll have our day in court. When would be a good time for you to go to court? Kind of like a jaywalking ticket. Won't go any driving record or anything like that, or... And since you're not on probation, you won't... Alright, so... From here we can go one of two ways. Where'd you say you're going?
I'm walking to Thornberry Cemetery.
Thornberry Cemetery. That's right on the end of the hill, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to, you can walk, or I can give you a ride after I uncuff you.
I gotta go walk.
Okay, you can go ahead and step out. You go ahead and grab your stuff. So, your court date is going to be 5/15/2024 at 1 p.m. at 11 Wilson Farm Road.
Okay.
If you have any questions, you can contact this number on the back. They'll give you all the information you want, all right?
All right. Appreciate you.
You have a nice rest of your
Is
evening.
the police department on here too?
Greenbrier PD, Greenbrier, Faulkner County. Address is 11 Wilson Farm Road. That's the Greenbrier deal. My badge number 810, Officer J. Lingo, and you also have my card.
All right. Appreciate you.
We could have avoided all of that.
I'm sorry, sir. I mean, I'm an American.
You are an American.
I have to, whatever I feel is my rights.
And that's your. Everybody has to do what they have to do. Abraham
Yes.
Lincoln said the only rights you have are the ones you're willing to fight and die for.
Yes, sir.
But as it states right there, it is illegal. So I had a legal reason to make contact with you. We had a 911 call. So if you didn't refuse to identify yourself, all I would have said was either walk on the grass or walk on the sidewalk.
Yes, sir.
And that would have been the end of it. But now we have a court date. If you feel like you've been unjust, then we can have a conversation with the judge about it.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right. Appreciate you.
No problem. And stay on either on the grass or on that side of the sidewalk, all right?
Yes, sir.
Hey, you want a water?
After being issued a citation for Section 27-51-1206, Mr. Hayes left the scene without further incident. According to a comment left on the original video, Mr. Hayes was found guilty and initially sentenced to 10 days in jail, but the judge overruled his sentencing. It is unclear what he was actually sentenced to or if he filed any complaints against Officer Lingo. Overall, Officer Lingo gets an F for escalating Mr. Hayes' refusal to identify into a custodial arrest without clear statutory authority, citing Mr. Hayes with an offense that he almost certainly did not commit, and for issuing that citation in what appeared to be an act of retaliation. As discussed earlier, Arkansas's pedestrian statutes do not clearly prohibit a person from walking along the edge of this particular stretch of Highway 65, and the provision governing pedestrians on controlled access highways also does not comfortably apply to a commercial corridor with business access and intersections, which likely rendered the officer's subsequent demand for identification unlawful. After Mr. Hayes declined to provide identification, Officer Lingo stated that he had a legal basis to demand it and moved almost immediately to physical custody, despite the fact that Arkansas law contains no broad failure to identify offense that applies to every street encounter. Officer Lingo went on to plainly admit on his own body camera that the only reason he issued Mr. Hayes a citation was because he refused to identify himself, which is not only legally dubious, but also calls into question the officer's ability to carry out his own law enforcement duties fairly and ethically. Although Officer Lingo maintained a generally calm demeanor, he kept his body camera recording, and he consulted with a supervisor, these positive aspects do not offset an arrest that relied upon a highly questionable underlying violation, overstated the scope of Arkansas identification requirements, and culminated in a citation that appeared to serve as a consequence for non-cooperation, rather than as a measured response to a safety hazard. Nonetheless, whenever an officer effectuates an unlawful, highly questionable, or totally unnecessary arrest, they are deserving of an F. This interaction highlights how uncertainty about the law, combined with impatience towards a citizen who declines to surrender his rights, can all turn a routine welfare check into a fundamentally unjustified arrest. Mr. Hayes gets a B+, because although it could be argued that he exercised poor judgment in choosing to walk along a busy highway with a usable sidewalk on the other side, he remained calm and respectful throughout the encounter, he articulated his understanding of his rights clearly, and he avoided escalating the situation even when Officer Lingo placed him in handcuffs. As noted before, Mr. Hayes decided to walk northbound in the southbound lane of Highway 65 on the side without a sidewalk, even though a safer route was accessible across the roadway. However, when looking at the area on Google Maps, it is apparent that there are no intersections with crosswalks or other areas designated for pedestrian crossing for several miles leading up to the location where the stop took place, and the sidewalk that was available starts approximately 350 feet from where the stop began. Considering Mr. Hayes' direction of travel, there doesn't appear to be a safe location for him to cross over to the sidewalk before being stopped by the officer. That That said, there is a large grassy easement that could have been safely traversed without prompting a 911 call or other safety concerns. Furthermore, Mr. Hayes' conduct reflected a strong effort to stand on his principles without turning the interaction into a shouting match or a physical confrontation. He spoke to Officer Lingo in a measured tone, he answered questions about his destination and background, and he clearly articulated that he believed he was within his constitutional rights not to provide identification in the absence of a clear offense. Mr. Hayes also maintained his composure throughout the encounter, while standing firm and asserting his rights. When Officer Lingo ordered him to place his hands behind his back, Mr. Hayes did not pull away, resist, or attempt to flee. He removed his backpack at the officer's direction, he allowed himself to be handcuffed, and he continued to voice his objections verbally rather than physically. Even after he had been placed in the patrol vehicle and told that he was under arrest, he maintained the same calm tone and framed his refusal to identify as a rights issue instead of as a personal attack on the officer. I commend Mr. Hayes for asserting his rights with composure and honesty in the face of an unjustified arrest. But I would caution other citizens in a similar situation to take full advantage of any available buffer from traffic, such as a grassy easement, when traveling along busy highways, so that officers and motorists have less reason to question their presence or their safety. Let us know if there is an interaction or legal topic that you would like us to discuss in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out Audit the Court if you're interested in exploring the legal nuance beyond the body cam.